Welcome to the J.G. Scott exhibit at the Salem Museum in Salem, Virginia. This is a Thomas D. Murphy original watercolor that was probably used in a blotter or calendar. Here's a picture of my grandfather in his studio at his residence at the Coaldale State Hospital. Here is a brief biographical summary of his major events in his life. Continuing on, we have Valentines, which are emphasized in this exhibit. Having some trouble with the lighting here. Over here we have Gibson Company proofs of uncut cards. They were all printed on the sheet and then punched out, which is die cut. If you notice, the golfer has no arms. His arms are elsewhere here, and they were punched out and connected and sold. And here is one more proof sheet. If you notice, the donkey there has no ears. Down here is the actual card that I found somewhere. Large Valentine. A group of Valentines from the 30s without the rosy cheeks. You had more flesh color. Here we have some ones that border on politically incorrect, at least in the minds of some people. They're cute. Now this is not a Scott. It was put up for comparison's sake. It is actually by Lewis Katz. Very close to Charles Twelvetrees also, but it is by Lewis Katz, and it looks similar to Scott, but there are differences, as you can see from these two little girls. Here's another Valentine. Okay, now continuing on here, we have other greeting cards. These are Easters. Mainly birthday here. Well, there's birthday, there's a get well soon card, just various things. Again, various other non-Valentines. Here are Christmas. Now on this wall are a series that were done for calendar cards. There were 12 of them, and the poems are original Scott poems. There's a road rally theme. Now, around the corner we have some of his other works. Here is an oil portrait of my mother, one of several that he did. Another Valentine. This is an original watercolor from Thomas D. Murphy. Never seen it on anything else, but it's a large, well-crafted piece. So, here's another oil painting. This is a pathway in the woods at the Coaldale State Hospital. My grandfather did at least 3 versions of this. My sister has one, and I also have another one. This was given to me by Mrs. Vonda Natras of Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. Now over here we have cream of wheats that appeared in national magazines. And here is perhaps the most valuable piece in the whole collection here. This is the original Cream of Wheat. It's a watercolor that was done, I guess, about 1922. I got it out of an auction house in New York. And there is the magazine version. Another Cream of Wheat. Another Thomas D. Murphy. Now in the display case we have a variety of items. Here are Valentines that I've put in shadow boxes, some of the older, better ones. Here we have, it's hard to get the lighting right. These are blotters that are advertising local Roanoke businesses. Down here we have some make-your-own Valentine cards. Over here, a series of calendar cards. Thomas D. Murphy again. Here's the book he illustrated, Us Kids. Down here are copies of some of the originals that from the Thomas D. Murphy Company. Various relatives own those. Here we have a couple magazine covers. Maclean's is a Canadian magazine. Farmer's Wife with a Valentine theme. He did many of those Farmer's Wife covers. There's an advertising brochure for Gibson that has numerous Scott cards pictured, many of which I haven't found yet. Here's an original watercolor, and here are two of its uses, one on a calendar card, one on a blotter, a salesman sample for a blotter. Another oil painting. This is the Court of Law in Edinburgh, Scotland. It was found in a storage locker out in Iowa, and I was lucky enough to purchase it. Now, continuing on here, a couple pictures of my grandfather. He's in his office there at Coaldale State Hospital, and there he is. That's the Coaldale State Hospital bowling team. Here are Valentine postcards, which are relatively hard to find. They're Gibson Company, but you don't see too many of them. Another Valentine card. Some more of some of these are mechanical. Some of them are just especially cute. A few more. This is probably the oldest Scott card I have. It's by the International Art Publishing Company, and it is signed. A little bit different. It was done early in his career. And finally, we have portraits. There's a self-portrait of my grandfather, and here is a portrait he did of his wife, Nellie. And that just about concludes the exhibit, except for here in the center of the room are stand-up Valentines. Some well, most of them, these are all birthday cards here, various types, but they're meant to stand up. And at the conclusion of the exhibit, anybody who attends is invited to pick up Valentines. These are not Scott Valentines, but they're ones from my collection that I wanted to get rid of. And it looks like about half of them are gone. So that's good. That will keep Vicki happy. So that concludes the tour.